Well, does she recognize the LGBTQ? I think it's what, individual A, it's A plus or something. I'm trying to keep up with all of that, but LGBTQIA is what I'm supposed to say nowadays to help with all the colors they've added. But are you liberal enough up there to?
Oh yeah, my first two sons are gay, and I'm severely supportive of that. I came from counterculture when I was younger, and most kids that gravitate towards counterculture, it's because they feel a little odd outside of everything else. So it's not the same as being homosexual or having a different kind of sexual preference or gender preference. It's not the same because you're still wearing clothes, but in the core of it, if you choose to gravitate towards that, it is part of who you are, and it's a social risk because at that, well, not so much today, but I was in the 1980s, and you're gonna pay some flack if you choose to wear it on your arm at that point. And now it's not so much that way for any people, and I think that's good. I think it's great that these younger generations have bringing that into their hearts because it's time for it to be over. You know, we don't need that in this world.
All right. So LGBTQIA, it's lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer and are questioning, intersex, and asexual and are ally. Now, how do you fit into that, having two sons that are gay? Are you an ally because you were straight and married a woman? How do we say that? I'm asking for your help in my...
I suppose I would say I'm an ally or a supporter. I mean, as far as myself personally, it's just I say I'm a supporter because I have post-transgender friends that I support. I have gay friends that I support. I mean, I support anybody's choice to do what they want. It's not just my children. So, but because of who they are, it's a personal extension of it, and you know, and when I see things that aren't right, and that means that I feel the right to correct it because I have sons that I'm very proud of.
Well, do you know anything about the Human Rights Campaign on Twitter? Or only since I was looking into research, hrc.org, about you, did I find this Alfonso David president and Steve Indian. It says purpose is LGBTQ rights in Washington, D.C. Their affiliations with the Human Rights Campaign Foundation, Human Rights Campaign, PAC. A little different from the Eagle Scout you were, but since you're an ally, can you help us understand more, being that you come up with a little bohemian gypsy lifestyle that many kids in the minimalistic... Well, let's start with you leaving country. You backpacked or you went over. I'm getting all these kids your age in their 40s now on my channel that have gone across country. They're artists. They don't mind living in tents. And that's just shaken my foundation because so many kids... I'm going to be 70 this year, which most of you know, singer, songwriter, musician. But at the same time, I'm an entrepreneur, and I'm going back to work because of money. I have to in America. So, Scott, with that said about me being very open, I think I have gender. I'm an ally, and my brother was gay, and my uncle was gay. So I grew up around in a military family that was apologizing for nothing because my brother was on Oprah Winfrey. And you know who that is. So we apologized for nothing. And Mother helped with the quilt thing with Billie Jean something tennis player, Billie Jean King. Yeah. And so she was very involved in the politics of the LGBTQ in Houston, Texas. But are you involved in any community, or are you just helping anybody you can? Give me an idea of your community service.
To me, for community means helping anyone. So I don't really have like a particular thing. I'm the type of person where I just want people to feel okay to be themselves. And kind of what I'm working towards with this art, and it's about self-empowerment through encryption, to protect your art, to protect your interests, to protect your own creativity, and to be your own company, to run your own stuff, to be your own entrepreneur. Because And it doesn't. The system that I've come up with doesn't just apply to art. It can be used across any business. It's just that I apply it for art because that's what I do. It's more of a function process. But the reason I do it is because it's the tools I use will basically empower everyday people to learn how to use augmented reality by themselves without code. They'll learn how to animate. They'll learn how to make GIFs. I'm working on a lot of tutorials that basically I can teach a child. All of my children know how to animate, and several of them know how to make augmented realities. And they're all under the age of, all those children were under the age of 10 when they made those through my instruction. And I think it's a basic idea of technology being presented by somebody who's not a normal technologist. I have the ability to just make it palatable for people and make it understandable because I say it in terms and words that aren't so technical that it frightens them.
Well, how can we take our Ace Folklife logo that I did back for street festivals and in the Ohio County, but the government knows I was working with the Smithsonian and, taking down people's voices and writing in the newspapers and bringing it to radio. How can this all help Ace Folklife with you now being the official president, even though it's non-paying? As I'm sure people all want to be paid. We all want to be paid for our artwork. But with you stepping forward and accepting responsibility for this presidential, it's a very prestigious position because it holds the fact that we have done the mountains down below you, Appalachians. We got started down there in Kentucky. But how can you make this better going from Grand Rapids to New Orleans for the Ace Folklife? You'll be on like a mission for art, culture, education, starving artists, and helping us fundraise to help the starving artist. How do you do you have a vision that you could foresee helping all of us?
Most definitely. And the biggest thing that I had wanted to do, and I was trying to get a team together to pull it off this year, is to start a real life worldwide media player through augmented reality ground based AR, and it would be a combination, which is you copy and paste a link in your phone, and it will project the AR through your phone as a viewfinder in front of you. I use a combination of a GLB 3D, an MP4 window, and basically it's a little virtual stage with a rock music video, which gives directs to, you can link a YouTube, you can link a regular video, it's up to you. That's the ground base. I'm also doing a target imaging that will work through this QR portal series that I'm working on, and I had a trouble with getting clients, and what I did was I created a simple these 3D GLB cuboids, and they have quick response codes on them, and I found that over the last 10 years, I made a quick response code game years ago that most people don't know what QR codes are, and they're quick response codes that go directly to one point on the internet, directly meaning a sale or whatever they're on those little Coke bottles. You'll see them, they're little barcodes, they're squares. Now, augmented reality is just a graduation of that, and the fact that when you're scanning with the phone for the QRs, you're recognizing those pixels, and that opens that data. Whereas if you're working with augmented reality, you take an actual image, like a picture. The scanner will recognize that, but then the data projects on top of the image, like a hologram, but it has to be seen through the viewfinder. Now, there's ways to apply. There's ways to view it. The two ways are the glasses, the augmented reality glasses are way under development, and I'm using phone apps, which is not the most prominent. A lot of high-end programmers aren't too hip to it, but the thing is, they're efficient, they're easy to use, and most of them are non-code. So if you're a designer, you make videos, you're an architect, you make any kind of art design, you can apply it in these, and it's pretty simple. You just upload your data, and the thing with augmented reality is the fact that it's the type of medium that holds all of the mediums. So you're able to put, you have one experience and you've got a 3D in there. You can put links in there. You can put your telephone number in there. You can put a video in there and images, slideshows, all in the same experience. So when you open it up, you're able to go through it. So it's like a full-on virtual media play for all your all your media across the board. But the way that I have made it is that I have direct tab buttons that will be inside of the augmented reality that will put you to the links. My initial QR cubes, where the QRs are, those are where the tabs will eventually go. They're just replacing where the QRs direct and turning them into tabs.
So if you're doing the work at $25 a logo for our artists, our creators and educators in our club, it's called the ACO Social Club. Mm-hmm. A lot of people don't have $25 to pay us, and I know you're the president, so you'll be able to make all the decisions for who gets the QR codes. But how much are you going to charge each one of us for our own logos? Now, you can use the Ace Folklife logo.
Here's the beauty of how my system works.
Okay.
You don't pay anything. You don't need to. It's based off of digital networking. What I do is, because it's very hard to secure an account from somebody, I go online, and most people don't realize that I'm online, and this is something that's happening in the NFT market, and this is something that I brought to everybody's attention, because anybody can go online with a screen capture or a web capture and take your art. If it's not private, they can take that. And once that is made, that is officially and legally a piece of art, because it is collage art. And then you could take that art and make a composition out of it. And even if it has a logo in it, if you're not charging for it, it's just a piece of pop art. So I do that. I send it to a high-end brand. If they choose they want to be a part of it, I give them the cube for free, and then I have a download of a GIF capture and an MP4 capture to PNG for people to download. Now, the QRs on there are direct to the products of the sales. What I do is I'll pick out 4 products that they're trying to push at that point. So then I send it to them and I say, hey, this is a gift. Would you like to participate in this? If they agree to that, now I have it's a pre-metaverse. It's not built yet, but the cuboids, the point is they go into the metaverse. The metaverse will be sold and auctioned as a full sculpture once it's full. That will go, or the QR like sculpture, and then that funding will go into the metaverse to build it. That's the process I'm going through. And right now I do have a guy out in California, Steve Van Loon, and he's all ready to start setting up to be building the XR in the beginning of June. I actually have it built already. There's 15,000 spots in it. I did it in 2 days. I build really fast. I can build an XR in about 5 hours.
Now, I've got the Ace Folklife original artwork for artists, creators, educators. It says art, culture, education on the bottom. But when I linked it to the ACO, it's 2 associations to save money. It's got a gold flag on the bottom. So you're telling me that any of the art that's out there right now, like the radio show now, they could see my TJ Mars ET World, TJ Mars Entertainment, my Ace Folklife ACO, or even my Morris Publishing, Timely Matter Books, maybe. What?
Oh, sorry. Sorry, my buddy. Just in the background. Sorry. Go again. I'm sorry. He got distracted. Sorry. What was that?
Oh, does he want to talk about the brands with you? Is he understanding what this is about? No. He's just on his way out the door. He's just conferring with me. Okay.
But as far as the brands, the way that it works is it's hard to explain. It's a new kind of branding. Yeah, like how I was talking about the screenshotting and the screen captures. Because if you have to think about it, like found art, the idea of found art or clip art or pop art. Say someone like Andy Warhol, who painted the Campbell soup cans. Now that is a copyrighted logo, but because he did a rendition of it in an artistic format, he could not be sued. So it's kind of the same idea where I'm making clip art from people's websites. I'll go onto your site, I'll pick up your logo, I'll pick up a couple of your products, I'll put it on this cuboid, and it's really neat looking. And what it is to build a network inside of the QR sculpture that I have that's an entire universe. That's all built up. That's already built structurally to just drop the tabs in and create it as an XR once it's done.
Well, so give you the brands for our artists, musicians, or when I go out and listen to a band, I'm taking videos for them to put on our channel on YouTube, and they want their brand on a phone so they can connect it to their website. I don't know how to do that. So are you